Good morning from Disturbia on the 9th of May, 2024. It is a holiday here in Disturbia. It is known as Christi Himmelfahrt, which is the ascension of Christ into heaven. And we all know that if the pagan state is celebrating a holy day, then it is actually not a holy day at all, but an unholy one. Mark 13. And as Jesus went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And Jesus answering said unto him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as we know, the Messiah is the cornerstone, and so even though the building is thrown down, the cornerstone remains. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? And Jesus answering them began to say, Take heed, lest any man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So there you have it. That's your answer. Until Christ returns in wrath, everything that goes before is a deception. There's going to be a Christ coming that the world is waiting for. The whole world will follow after the beast. They are waiting for the false Christ. If you look into it, you'll realize this. Look up Lucci's Trust, Lucistrust. Look up Blavatsky. Look up Alice Bailey. Look up Rudolf Steiner. Look up Theosophy. Look up Anthroposophy. They are all waiting for the false Christ. And that's what Jesus says here. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. What did Paul say, or whoever it was that wrote 2 Thessalonians? There is some dispute as to whether or not Paul wrote that. I don't know. The whole thing is so mind-boggling, and I think that is one way that the confusion of Mystery of Babylon confounds people. It confounds them to the point of resignation. You just resign and give up. Not understanding. Not even wanting to understand because it's too hard. But really, if you interpret line upon line, precept upon precept, you'll realize that we have been set up to believe in the 1,000-year reign, which, according to Revelation, is only going to last for 1 hour because it is the reign of Satan on the earth, proclaiming to be God. He will declare himself God. Jesus says this here. He says it in Matthew 24. Daniel says that he will exalt himself above all gods. And so does Paul, Saul, Peter, whoever it was that wrote 2 Thessalonians 2, because that is the truth. Line upon line. And when you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, don't be troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be earthquakes in divers places. There shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues you shall be beaten. It doesn't say, don't worry because I'm going to rapture you up. Don't worry because it's my millennial kingdom that's coming. He says the false Christs are going to come and you're going to be delivered. And one proof of this is the Noahide laws. You shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake for a testimony against them. The gospel must first be published among all nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take you no thought beforehand what ye shall speak, neither do ye premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, that speak ye. You see, this is the hour of the rule of the beast. Revelation 17 and 18 say that the beast will only rule 1 hour, which could probably be something like 40 days. Recently, somebody said that it was 45 days because what he did was he subtracted the days that are mentioned in Daniel. Let me just look that up real quick. I hope it's quick. Let's see here. Daniel. Yes, there is in Daniel 12, 11 and 12. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days, 1290. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,335 days, 1335. And if you subtract the one from the other, you'll get 45. Now, what is the abomination that maketh desolate? I believe that it is the worship of the golden calf, which is representative of the original sin, which is the sacrifice of the firstborn child. Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, blood for blood, life for life. That is why the Messiah was slain, the Lamb was slain from the foundation of the earth. He foresaw all that was happening. You know, sometimes I ask myself too, it's enough. It's enough damage, it's enough destruction, it's enough deception. The babies that are aborted, I read just the other day that there's been an increase since Corona. Maybe that is because women are realizing that their babies are deformed. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyhow, I do ask myself, and God. But you see, the thing is that God knows the end from the beginning. He said when the measure of iniquity is filled, and it evidently has not been filled up yet. Not only that, but of course my lamentations are selfish. There are people that haven't been saved that are going to be saved, and I get that is the whole reason and purpose. There will be those that are saved at the 11th hour, just like Jesus said there would be. And evidently that is why the wait is so long. But it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The gospel must first be published among all nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what you shall speak, neither do ye premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, speak ye, for it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Ghost. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, the father the son, the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. There is going to be betrayal. I see that in my own family. I've got somebody in my family who won't talk to me because when he brings up the Jews, I bristle. And finally, not too long ago, I said, I see it differently. Salvation cannot be of the Antichrist. That just defies reality. It defies a sound thinking and a sound mind. You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. He that shall endure unto the end, overcoming Babylon, overcoming the lies, the deception, and not loving your life to the death, which is what Jesus said. He who loves his life more than me is not worthy of me. You lose your life, you find it. This is the irony. And this is what the devil plays on, but he creates a kind of a duality out of this irony and twists everything around. He says here further in Mark 13:14, but when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not. So there's something that's going to be standing in the holy place. What is it? I believe it is the golden calf. I was listening yesterday or the day before, to some speeches being made on the Lucci's Trust YouTube channel about the Taurus. The Taurus. When I say Taurus, I immediately comes to mind Toys R Us, Taurus. Taurus is, of course, the bull. And they talk about the sign of Taurus. And I do believe that this is the golden calf. They talk in euphemisms. They speak with crafty language, speaking dark sentences. This is also to be found in Daniel, so that we do not understand what they're saying. Just like Jesus spoke in parables. And later on, he expounded always to his disciples what he meant by them. And these wicked, it says in Proverbs, a naughty person, a wicked man. They do things they speak with their eyes, they teach with their fingers, they do things with their feet. Look at Freemasonry and all the signs that they use. And it's very, very easy to tell a false prophet, a false pastor, because almost all of them, without exception, are speaking with their hands. They point up, they point down. With their index finger, they make the horned hands. And it just never ends. But they're very easy to find out. And if you know how they operate. And it says here, when you shall see the abomination of desolation, let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him that is on the housetop not go down to the house, neither enter therein, to take anything out of his house. This is just like in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Do not look back. Go forward. Do not look back. Do not look back at Babylon with yearning, like the wife of Lot. Him that is in the field should turn not back again, for to take up his garment. God will cover you. You do not need that garment. That's why all this talk about hoarding and prepping. Your house may be bombed. You may be taken into jail. You don't know what's going to happen. We have to trust God. Of course, you need to be level-minded and serious thinking. But hoarding is for people who lack faith. Messiah is the living water, and he will be with you unto the death. Woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, and pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation of which God created unto this time, neither shall be. Why? Because that is going to usher in the end of time. First, the great falling away, the man of sin, the abomination that causes desolation, which incites the wrath of God and smashes time and ushers in the realm of eternity, eternal judgment, the separation of the sheep from the goats. In those days shall be affliction, and except the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. He will shorten the days, otherwise everyone would be killed. It's going to be a frenzy of killing. They talk about peace, peace, when there is no peace. Jezebel is still afoot in her sorceries, and they rule this current world. God's kingdom is not of this world. He's not coming back a second time to rule and reign. That is a vicious lie, and many have fallen for it. It's mentioned one time in Revelation. But when God speaks, he will always confirms what he says a second time. There has to be a witness, and there is no witness for this 1,000-year reign. I'm very, very intense about this because many are going to fall victim to it. Many. It's strong delusion is what it is. Making you believe a lie. And if you believe lies long enough, God will give you over unto it. That's the danger. You have to be soberly minded, line upon line. Yes, it's boring. It's very boring. It's more interesting to believe, I'm going to be ruling and reigning with Christ for 1,000 years. How often have I heard from people? I've talked to a lot of people about it's going to get really bad, but then it's going to be good. What are they talking about? They're talking about affliction, and then they're talking about the 1,000-year reign. This is a reign of Antichrist, and according to the Bible, he's only going to rule 1 hour. Revelation 17, Revelation 18. It's mentioned about 3 times. There has to be a witness in the Bible. And this 1,000-year reign is only mentioned 1 time, so you can excise it. Or you can realize, you can take it for what it is, and it's a big deception. All the cults are waiting for Satan to come again on the earth. For false Christs and false prophets shall rise and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. Take heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. You see, what the Messiah has said, nobody listens to. Anytime you read about the rapture, the 1,000-year reign, it's always Paul and what is mentioned in Revelation 1 time. They don't bother to look up Revelation 12:11 or Revelation 24. They don't know anything about the Noahide laws. They don't know anything about what the cults are waiting for, or the Theosophists, or the Anthroposophists, the Satanists, the Luciferians, the Mormons, the SDAs, the JWs. They're all waiting for the man of sin to return and claim that he is God, sitting in the temple with his golden calf and making you worship unto it. Many Christians are going to be sacrificed unto this thing. It's the pride of man that says, I'm going to rule and reign, and nothing else. Behold, he has told us before.